Welcome to this workshop, Contemplative Visual Journaling. And I want to introduce to you Darden Bradshaw, who is going to be our presenter today. Darden is an artist and an educator, and she is an Associate Professor of Art Education at the University of Dayton. She teaches all levels of art education and has also taught studio art courses. In her bio, you'll see that she's written about the field of art integration, which is really interesting. You can maybe say something about that briefly when I finish your bio here. You did this in the Tucson schools. You did art integration, and you are working now for a nonprofit where you're a consultant and trainer for a nonprofit arts integration solutions. Sounds really interesting. So welcome, Darden, to DignityUSA, to our conference. We're delighted to have you present this workshop to us on contemplative visual journaling. It looks like we're going to do a lot of visualizing. There's water in the back. If you get thirsty, the nearest restrooms are right outside the door to your left. So if you want to say something about art integration, and then dive right into your workshop.
Thank you. Well, welcome. As John said, I'm Darden, and I'm really excited to be here with you all because there is nothing that I love more than exciting people around the ways in which visual journaling can become a vehicle for each of us individually to reflect, to consider what's happening in our world and in our lives, and to have an outlet to express ourselves. Earlier, someone was saying, a lot of people say, I can't draw a stick figure, I can't make art. It is true, I hear that a lot. And what I'm going to tell you is that you need absolutely no prior experience to participate in this, other than a willingness and an openness to be here, which I think you all obviously have. What I have developed for you today, so as John said, I'm an art educator and I've spent a lot of time in the last 30 years teaching a variety of these tools and techniques. But today I'm going to limit us in that I'm going to do a demonstration first so that you can understand how to use the materials that are here. I'm going to talk you through all the materials that are available. I'm going to take a moment to allow you to get up and get materials and bring back to your table to work. And then once everyone's back at their tables and feeling like you are empowered with the materials and tools you need, then I'm going to take you through a variety of practices, okay? Before I do that, I'd just like to share some of what's up here with you to give you perhaps some inspiration and to help you think a little bit about what visual journaling can be. So I often work with and try to, and I'll pass these around, these are all my personal visual journals. I often work with color. In this particular case, all I did was take paint and scrape it using a piece of cardboard across the page, right? And then let it dry, which by the way, I have a hairdryer up here so that we can speed things up, and then build on top. I have a tendency to sew or glue or put in things. I like to work with a variety of materials. So in this particular case, I was visiting my father, and I didn't have anything except some oil pastels, a little 8-pack of oil pastels, right? So I was working with that. But I like to glue things in. I like to build and collage. And I encourage you to think about creating layers today. I often will work in other books. This is an old book that I found, an old Horizon book, and I was teaching a course on visual journaling. And so I just started drawing and painting directly on the papers, adding to what was already present, and building my own, right? So this is just a grocery bag. And my arch here is made from the handle, right? This is all Post-its, ready for me to begin. So, you aren't limited, right? We sometimes limit ourselves in life. And we say, I don't have enough materials. Well, maybe you don't have all these colored materials, but you have a piece of paper and a black and white pen. In which case you can still create and journal, right? You don't have to have all of these materials, at your disposal. You can build on and collage. I went to the White Privilege Conference many years ago, which is about allyship, sort of how does whiteness work in the world and how can we use our privilege. And I was journaling as I was listening to the speakers. So as you're listening, as you're engaging in sessions, you can draw and create and build, right? And so the other thing that I have a tendency to do is I will actually just work with papers. These are from a 4-month trip where I traveled with students and taught, and I just took one piece of paper for every day and I carried it around with me in my bag because it was easy and it could fit in my bag. And then I would create a visual response to my day, to what I was experiencing, to what I was feeling. You're welcome to flip through those, okay? I did that again a couple years later on the bigger pieces. Again, these are all here and available for you. Sometimes I do things like I take a book that already exists. I'm a fiber artist, y'all. I have an MFA in fibers as well as a PhD in art education. So I'm all about like texture and materiality. And so I went to Malawi. I was traveling to Africa and working, and I didn't have anything but my journal with me. But you can see I got all my stuff from the plane on here. And that's how I created these shapes and these forms, was because I was working with what I had access to, and a glue stick and a pen. So I will talk you through the materials we have, and then I'm going to take you through the experience. And okay, questions so far? Or
what were you
concerns?
doing in Malawi?
I was teaching a group of young women. I was working in a girls' empowerment program there.
Wow.
From the University of Dayton. So I have up here on the table a lot of collage materials. All of these collage materials, and I'm sorry for those of you who have to turn around, but I'm going to talk you through what's here. We have construction paper, we have marker paper, we have mixed media paper, which is what I would recommend if you're going to do anything wet, meaning use watercolor or paint. There's watercolor, thick, beautiful watercolor paper up here. Oil pastels, watercolor brushes and cups, colored pencils, these fantastic tempera paint stick markers, which if you've never played with these, y'all, everybody needs to play with them, because they are so much fun. It's tempera paint in a stick form, dries immediately. So they're great fun because you don't have to worry about smearing or rubbing. We have regular markers, glue sticks, stencils, pencil sharpeners, brads, tape. I mean, if you want to stick it on with tape, you can do that. And then up here, I just brought a whole bunch of old prints from the jelly plate process that I'm going to show you in just a second that could become initial collage material. Maybe you respond to a color or a shape, and you want to pick from that. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is that's not true. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to come and collect materials. Okay? We will we split the crayons up. They come in a box. If you like crayons, they're great fun. But I want you to just collect some materials to begin making marks with. So you'll need a piece of paper. If you don't want to get up, I can bring you what you need. You need a piece of paper, whether it's mixed media or watercolor paper or a journal or something on which you want to create. And you need some kind of material of color form. That could be oil pastels, watercolors, the paint sticks, the markers, the crayons, the colored pencils. Okay? And you could even pick one of these that's already in existence and create on top of it. But what I want you to do is just start with a piece of paper of some kind and some kind of colored material. And then once everybody's back, I'll take you through the experience. Okay? All right, let's. Okay. And you can share materials with people at your table. Don't feel like you are limited. You can always get up again. But we're going to start by asking you to first just set your materials down on your table. And you can, if you would like, and you're comfortable, you can draw your eyes sort of closed or half closed. And we're going to begin with just a deep breath in. Okay. We're going to try that again. And this time, we're going to take a deep breath in, and when you exhale, I encourage you to exhale audibly. I will demonstrate. You can make noise. It's totally fine. All right? So, inhale, please. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Roll your shoulders back. Give yourself just a little bit of room and one last inhalation. Feel that breath coming all the way down to your belly. And now exhale. Beautiful. The first thing I want you to do is you can keep your eyes closed. I encourage you to think about what you feel. Do you feel the air breathing on, or the air cascading on your body? Do you feel the breath, the warmth of your breath exhaling through your nostrils? Do you feel the clothes on your body? Maybe you feel something that's irritating or bothering you. Okay. What do you hear? Do you hear the creak of the chairs? The hum of the air conditioner? What do you smell? You smell the crayons, the coffee. What do you taste? Is there a leftover breakfast? Now gently open your eyes, and I want you to look around and notice 4 things that are present in this room. They could be another human, they could be the art, they could be the pattern on the carpet, they could be the pattern on someone's clothes. Now I'm going to invite you to use the materials you have and to create on that piece of paper a response to what you felt, what you heard, what you tasted or smelled, and then what you saw. There is no right or wrong here. You are simply responding to what you had experienced visually on the paper. Think about making marks, tearing, moving across the page, and you only have about 5 minutes. This has sort of a like, okay, here we are. And can I just tell you that you all did visual journaling? In 4 minutes, every single person in this room was creating a visual response without perhaps any prior experience, right? So there is no requirement. I say that because we're going to do 2 more experiences, and I want you to feel empowered to push beyond your comfort zone and to explore in ways that you may not typically. I'd like to share with you this process, which is called the jelly plate process. How many of you ever heard of jelly plates? Okay, all right. If you can't see, you may want to sort of gather around. We can do that. That's not a problem. There's nothing formal about this. Okay, I'm not a formal kind of gal. So come on up. If you need to sit, bring a chair. That's totally fine too. I want you to feel comfortable. I'm going to demonstrate this process, and then I'm going to give you the next prompt, and this might be a process you want to engage in the next prompt, which is why I'm going to demonstrate it. So these are rubber acrylic. Feel free to sit down, Chris, so that other people can see around you. So this is a rubber acrylic printing plate, and there are various sizes and shapes. We have rubber brayers. These are used for printmaking, for the printmaking process. But for today, we're going to use them this way. There is on this table here all sorts of tiny little bottles of acrylic paint. I'm going to tell you, my students use them. So some of them might be practically empty. Squeeze out what's there, throw it away if it's empty. Don't put it back, like my students do. Right? But I'm going to just put the ink or the paint directly on the plate. I'm going to use the brayer. They have these lovely like ridges on the back. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting a layer of color down. And you can play with whatever colors are in that bucket of acrylic paints that you want for demonstration purposes. I'm just starting with these. One side has a plastic sheet on it. Please leave that on there, okay? What's beautiful about these plates is that they absorb texture. They take the texture of whatever you put on them and then allow you to use that. So there's some lace. Here's some bubble wrap. Oh, and let's use one of these guys. Put you over there, and then, excuse me, I apologize. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. I should have grabbed paper. And now, you just gently press those down. I'm not rubbing real hard because it will take your fingerprints as well. And I lay my paper on the surface, and I'm just going to use the flat palm of my hand and give it a nice little press, and then voila. You ready for the magic?
Yes.
If you want to talk about magic, this allows you, now granted, I used dark ink on a dark paper. Let's do something a little bit bolder and brighter. What do you say?
Sure.
Let's do some brightness. You can, I'm going to show you how to clean these off too. What'd you say?
Clean?
Clean? Yes, we're going clean. We're going to clean. I love using orange bags. Those give lovely texture. You can start to see it. I'm going to use the back side because I make a mess and I don't care. So all those prints that are up there on the table were all made using this process, right? Now granted, I'm using gray paper and dark ink. Use white paper, right? You can print on anything. You can print on brown paper. Up here at the table are texture plates. All of these plates can be used to add texture to the surface of the gel plate. We have plenty of paint, and when you're done, you take one of these lovely wipes and you just wipe off your brayer. That's all you gotta do, okay? And then your plate is ready for the next person. So, why did I show you this? Because we're gonna, in just a second, after I make sure there's no questions, I'm gonna have you go back and we're going to engage in the next prompt of our contemplative visual journaling. And during that process, it will be much longer than the last one. I'll give you time. And you might decide that this is something you want to avail yourself of at that time, okay? There are 4 stations. Each one has newsprint, a plate, and a brayer. I do encourage you to share all the textured materials. There's texture plates, which are used by, these are used in early childhood art education. You can actually also use these with your crayons. You lay these under your paper and then use the crayons and they'll create a lovely surface. There's a whole stack of them. These are stamps, which can often be used in clay, but for our purposes, we're using them on the jelly plates. There is lace, feathers, yarn, and lots of these orange bags. And even if it already has ink on it, it doesn't matter. You can use it again, okay? All right, so questions about this particular process before we move away from here?
So I guess the orange bag, you would just turn that over and stamp it on the paper?
Yes, that's what I did right here.
That's what you did, okay. Oh, yeah, got it.
Yeah, so this is the orange bag, excuse me. You can use any of these things, and you can reuse them. And if your hands get dirty, don't worry. You can go to the bathroom and wash them. This is acrylic. Just don't get it, please don't get it on your clothes. If you're wearing something that you absolutely love and adore, because it's acrylic. It's a rubber polymer and it will not come out. Okay. All right, if there are no questions about this particular process, I'm going to invite you to sit back down for just a minute. For the next 20 minutes, and I'm also going to move this table so that it's easier for people to get on either side of it. I just realized we need more space. This is what our teachers do. We're just always moving furniture. For the next 20 minutes, I'd like you to create a new response. You can set this one aside. You can build on this one, right? It's up to you. You may use collage, markers, anything that's in this room, including the hairdryer, to dry things and make it go faster. I encourage you to build layers. And as you are building your layers, whether those are paint, then marker, then oil pastel, print, drawing, whatever it might be, pen and ink, as you are building your layers, consider how can you create a visual response to the reflection today, right here, right now. God's love to me. Whatever that means. You finish today, right here, right now. God's love to me. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you express it? How do you receive it? Okay? Today, right here, right now, God's love to me. And I invite you to explore.